Welcome everybody to the 10th edition of USUK Chronicles, and ho ho ho, it's the Christmas special. Today this is the interview with Miss Raychel Roll, a makeup effects artist. Go check out all of her stuff on Instagram, on TikTok, all under RaydiateByRaychel. This is an awesome little interview, and Mr. Stevens is on fire. And not literally, his beard's just ginger, it's not on fire. Anyway, check it out. And as always, leave us a comment, leave us a like, and subscribe, and all that jazz. Have fun, and Merry Christmas.
Hope that we live up to expectation now. Now the pressure's on now.
That's exactly right.
Like, oh, shit. Yeah, well, so basically how it works out is Jamie will do a little introduction, just being like bigging you up massively, and then we're going to sit here and have a chinwag and just ask you a lot of questions about makeup and paint and stuff.
That sounds great to me.
Excellent.
Jamie? Paint and stuff, I like that. Right, we good? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's no secret I have a love for creative people and people using their talents to give the world entertainment. Our guest today has used the talents to reach a social media following of over 440,000 people, which is mental. Today, two bearded manly men are going to sit here and talk about makeup. So, welcome to the show, the most incredibly talented makeup artist I've ever seen. The lady behind Radiate by Raychel. It's Raychel Roll.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Not a problem.
How are things, though? How are things going? Everything okay? A good day so far?
A good day so far. Doing good. I mean, yeah, I have no complaints. This is my Saturday. I am okay.
Did you work yesterday, did you?
Yeah, I work
okay.
Tuesday through Saturday. So Sunday, Mondays are my days off.
Gotcha. So it's your weekend. Oh, hopefully we can kick it off with a bang.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're in the future, and to be honest with you, you're not missing out much. So just to let you know.
Heads up. I appreciate it.
But all seriousness, how has your year been?
You know what? With everything going on, I have to say I have had a surprisingly good year at the start of 2020, or
Really?
all of 2020. Yeah, it's been okay. I can't complain. I mean, I could, but no, like, I think that, like, for all of what's going on in the world right now, like, I bought a house this year, and so I kind of feel like that's such a big adult step, that, like, if I did that in the middle of a pandemic, I'm doing all right. Like, I feel like I'm in a good place.
Yeah, they should give you the key to the city. How did you manage that?
I have to say, I'm also, like, lucky enough I work at Costco. Do you guys have Costco over there? You do, right?
Do we?
Okay.
Costco?
Yeah, it's
Is
a
it?
few.
Oh, okay.
I think so. We have a Costco Facebook page, and I see people posting about, like, from the UK sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think you do. But I was lucky enough to work in a retail setting that didn't get shut down. So I was a very lucky, essential worker that didn't lose their job. So that's a huge reason as to why I was able to still do that this year.
That is absolutely incredible. Well, you're one of the lucky few, because I've been on furlough since March, and I'm pretty much ready to smash my face against the wall, because it's probably a bit more exciting. So
could be the highlight of 2020. The way things are going.
So for charity, I'm going to video myself. No, I'm not joking. It's all good. So I take it you've
Look
not...
at the views.
What? 0. I'm going to get reported and arrested.
So, take us back to the start. Where did this begin? Was it inspired by a love for makeup, art, both?
Yeah, so I've always been an artist. I drew a lot when I was younger. I've always been someone who could look at a reference photo and then freehand the exact same thing right next to it. So as long as I have a reference, like I can kind of just like mimic everything. If I don't have a reference, it's a stick figure. That's what you're getting from me. So it's kind of like my brain doesn't like quite work without having something to reference. But I did that when I was young, and then I kind of like took a break, and my passion growing up was dancing. And then like after I got out of college and I couldn't do that anymore, I was feeling like I was missing some creativity in my life. Like that was always my creative outlet. And then like I can't remember exactly when, but like one Halloween, I was just like in college, broke, and thought, God, I do not want to spend money on a Halloween costume. But you know what I've always been good at is makeup. So I ended up looking like a clown that Halloween, even though that was not my intended costume. But it was the start of, you know, something at that time. And then like 3 or so Halloweens I like every Halloween I would kind of dabble in little bits of Halloween makeup because I just thought, well, this is fun. I've always liked makeup. I've always been good at it. But I just wanted to do something more than like your everyday typical glam. And so I said, I'm just going to try some fun Halloween makeup, like a vampire here and Harley Quinn here. And I was okay at it. And then I thought, like, if I did it outside of Halloween, people would make fun of me. And so I didn't do it. Like, I was probably spent 4 years of just doing it around Halloween. And then one year I was like, I'm going to actually give this a shot. Like, I had just gotten a job at Costco, where I currently work, as a hearing aid specialist. And I absolutely love my job, but it's not creative at all. And I was leaving a job in makeup. And I thought, well, okay, if I'm leaving that job in makeup, I don't want to like leave makeup altogether. I really enjoy this. So I'm going to go be a hearing aid specialist, but I also really want to try to do makeup on my own. And so I made this Radiate by Rachel Instagram page, and it was honestly meant to be a portfolio. Like, it was really just kind of going to be a place where if I was going to do like bridal clients or like Halloween makeup for people, they could just be like, hey, go look at this. This is what I've done. But then that Halloween, I decided to do 31 days of Halloween on it. So I did 31 different looks every day. And I thought, well, I'm going to see like from day 1 to 31, like how much my skills can grow. And they grew a lot. And then I just never stopped. Like, someone recommended doing 12 days of Christmas next. And then I just like kept going. And here we are 2 years later, and I'm still doing it. So that's the long answer to how I got started.
It's
amazing.
It's fascinating. I was looking through some of your, mind was blown, absolutely blown. But I just had the thought of, so you say you did weddings?
Mm-hmm.
I had the idea of a bride going, yeah, can I have the steampunk where you've got the...
So there was like a time about 2 years ago when I was looking for my job. I was kind of trying to figure out like where I wanted to go, if I wanted to stay in makeup or like do what I went to school for. And I actually like applied for this basically freelance large company in the Seattle area that does bridal work, but they also do like other things. And so I was like, well, I want to do the creative shit. Like, come on, I need to know, like, if I can I do like Halloween themed weddings. I mean, I was like looking for, and so I'm in my interview and I'm asking them these questions, and they're just like, I'm not sure that this is the right job for you, my friend. And then they also were looking at me like I didn't know what I was talking about. Like, well, we would have to train you for that. And I'm like, no, I promise. Like, I promise you wouldn't. I mean, maybe a little bit, but like, so yeah, I do have a lot of brides who will like reach out to me and be like, hey, I'm interested, but like, just the normal stuff. They're just kind of like concerned to tell me that they don't want big body paints. Like, no, it's okay.
That was so cool if you just sat there like, yes, and then you start getting really carried away like, oh my God. And then just a massive like evil Minnie Mouse or something. I don't know.
Right. Oh, sorry, you didn't want to walk down the aisle as Cruella de Vil? Weird.
What do you mean you didn't want to be a zombie snowman?
That's exactly right.
Zombie snowman.
I don't know. It's the first that came to my head.
I wouldn't put it past me either.
Well, no.
So, did you say you taught yourself to do this, or did you have like education training in makeup and whatnot?
Yeah, so I am 100% self-taught. When I started doing it, it was truly finding an image on Pinterest and then mimicking it onto my face. And then when I really started getting into, like, when I started buying, initially, probably the first few months, I was doing it solely using eyeshadows, eyeliners, fully cosmetic products. And I was doing these bigger looks, but they were just cosmetic products and they're hard to work with. And so I finally was like, well, if I'm going to keep doing this, like, I'm going to invest in actual body paints and things that will make this easier and look more professional. When I started investing in myself more, I also started investing in the education of it, but all my education is from YouTube. I mean, I think we all can agree, like, you can learn just about anything on the internet nowadays. Like, there's little, other than some jobs that you really need a degree for. I mean, it's all out there knowledge wise. So I just like start Googling, zombie face paintings and see whatever image comes up. I would kind of try to follow the tutorials, but I also would just like watch these amazing artists on YouTube that I maybe wasn't going to do the exact same look as them, but I was learning their techniques as, you know, I'm watching everything that they do. And so there are, it's a big community. Body paint is a huge online community. And I didn't really realize it until I started digging into it myself and like looking for people to learn from. But the amount of talent out there on YouTube and just really any social media right now is insane. And yeah, so I watched a few girls like religiously and just, you know, kind of got their techniques down, got down what worked for me. And that's how I just kept going. And the more I did, like the more looks I did and kind of like redid in a similar to different style, the more you learn like, well, this worked the first time and this didn't work. And when you do it on yourself, you get to know your canvas really well. So I know exactly, you know, like placement wise on my body really easily. So it was just a lot of, you know, trial and error, but yeah, all self-taught.
That's amazing.
Just again, I love these conversations. Anyway, so you mentioned before that you did it originally, went dancing and then didn't do that anymore to go back to makeup. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I did. I was like always that girl in high school that people wanted to do like their prom makeup or homecoming makeup. Like I was really kind of like freelancing, but not at like a very young age.
Okay.
And I was just always good at makeup. I enjoyed it. I was a competitive dancer. So when we would do these big dance competitions, you had to have a full face. So I remember like being really young. I think I was like 13, 12, like somewhere in there, having to put on a full face of makeup. And my mom's, you know, doing it for me before a competition. No one is allowed to touch my eyes. Like I can't have people touch, it just didn't work. My mom, it didn't work. So I was like 12 and learned how to do mascara. And then I learned how to put on my own falsies. And so now all of a sudden all the dance moms are like, great, she can do it. So she's going to do it for all of our kids. So I was very young when I was like learning how to do these, like, it wasn't anything like drag makeup, but no 13-year-old naturally wears a full face of makeup.
No.
So I got really good at it really young, and then I just enjoyed it, and then I just kept doing it. People kept telling me like, you're good at this. YouTube then kind of became big in the beauty community when I was in like late high school or so, and that's kind of when people were like, well, if you're good at this, maybe this is something you could consider. I never in my wildest dreams thought I would have a following. Like I never thought that I would ever like be an influencer or anything like that. It was even at a young age, I was like, that's cool. Like that's like living the dream, but like well, that'll never be me. So it is kind of wild to think that like this many years later, just someone who was like, oh, I'm good at makeup and I enjoy it is like doing it to the extreme that I am. It's pretty crazy even for myself to think about.
Damn. Absolutely incredible. So how long do they normally take? How long does it not? Because I imagine do you do that the whole half thing where you did like the black line down the front and then is it that sort of, am I talking shit?
So, well, like as far as like length of look, I mean, everyone is so different and it depends on like, it definitely depends on the detail. It depends on how many videos I'm making. My TikTok is, I put a lot of work into it, but those videos take forever and I make a lot of them, but I get a lot of content out of one look. But because of that, I mean, some of my looks, I think at most have taken up to 12 hours. But like generally we're talking more like 6 to 8 is pretty average. So it's like putting in a full work day, and often I'll do it after I get off work. So I'll work an 8-hour shift, I'll come home, I'll eat, and then I'll stay up until about 3 a.m. painting, and then I'll go to bed and go to work the next day.
How? Are you not just like fucking knackered all the time?
I am tired all the time. Like my coworker yesterday looks at me and goes, "You probably don't even know what 8 hours of sleep is, do you?" I felt very called out. And I think I know it's not like the healthiest thing to do, but I guess I kind of figure like I'm young and I can kind of do that right now. So I'm grinding as hard as I can. And it's really starting to pay off, which is just the best feeling. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, because the following you've got now and the amount of people I imagine that come to you and be like, I'd like you to do this, this, and this. So it's obviously, it's all working out for you, which is beautiful.
It is, yeah. It's this year, like October is obviously a huge month for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the biggest month. But October, I kind of was like hoping, okay, I'd been in it exactly 2 years in October. Let's see. 1 year on TikTok in October, 2 years on Instagram this October. And so I kind of thought to myself, like, if hopefully this busy month rolls around and I'm able to get jobs and it'll pay off to me to have brand deals and stuff like that. And that did happen. It's been an amazing month. And it was just like, it was the reward, kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I'd been working so hard, hoping that like one day I just got like an offer. And it's been a really good feeling to like finally have it pay off and know that like I wasn't doing all this for nothing. So.
On the flip side of Tom's original question, how long does it take this stuff off?
Not very long. Way quicker than putting it on. I shower most of it off. I usually I'll make removal videos for TikTok sometimes, but like if it was up to me, I honestly wouldn't even like pre-do anything. I would walk straight into the shower because all my stuff is water activated paint as a base. So, most cosmetic products come off really easily, and then the water activated paint, as soon as it hits water, it turns into liquid again and it comes off. So I use like some balms and stuff, but I mean, gosh, 5 minutes to take it off for like 8 hours to put it on.
What happens if you sweat?
So sweat, I guess I've never sweat enough for it to be that bad. But I have done some photo shoots outside where it was raining, and it definitely we were like covering me with umbrellas and stuff. And it was, if I would be out in the rain, it would be gone. I mean, it's the same idea. And I live in Seattle, so it's very rainy here.
Yeah. I mean, I know that was a really random and very odd question to ask, but as soon as you said that as soon as water touched it, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
What happens in the summer and stuff?
Now that you think of it, because I mostly paint just inside, well, in the summertime, I have an AC blasting, because that was an issue when I moved into my new house, and it was really hot in my studio in the summer, and I was like, oh god, this is not going to be good. But it actually was never an issue where it was running or anything.
Okay, good.
No. One day, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
So as I said in the intro, you've got a huge following on your social media now. How was this a gradual increase, or was it just you did a certain look and it just exploded?
When I started TikTok, gosh, I'm trying to think. I think that it was pretty fast at first. I just remember I had been on Instagram for a year, and Instagram is obviously just much slower growing than TikTok. That's one of the beauties of that platform, is that it's fast growing. But I had been on there for a year, and I was at maybe 30,000 at the time, maybe not even that. And I remember hitting 30,000 on TikTok within a couple of weeks, and I had been on TikTok or Instagram for a year, and I was at 30. And I just remember thinking God, I wish that my other platforms grew like this, because I had been putting so much into Instagram at the time. And then it easily surpassed. I think I was up to 100,000 within a couple of months. And then it's been more slow growing after 100. But obviously faster than Instagram, because now I'm at, I think you said 440.
Yeah, 440 there.
Yeah. And so it's it seems slow growing at times, but then sometimes I'll get these videos that will hit a couple million or a million views, and then it will boost up really fast. So the algorithm isn't always in my favor, but it's definitely helped me out.
That's incredible. I think it's crazy these days that you have to. Social media is now the way to get yourself out there, sort of thing. It's what would you have done 20 years ago when it wasn't? You know what I mean?
It really is amazing. So my mom is actually a freelance graphic designer, but because she's in the marketing field, we talk often about how social media, truly she's my momager, because I would be lost if I didn't have a parent that was also a freelancer, because I would have no idea how to navigate this world of creating your own business and stuff like that through social media. But it's kind of crazy. I was thinking the other day, and me and her were talking about how today's social media presence, like I don't love the word influencer, but that's what people know them as. So today's influencer is kind of like a model to like my childhood. Like we used to look up to models and be like, wow, they're so cool, that's who I want to be, like that's living the dream. And now it's like having a social media presence is more like that to today's kids. And how brands, like it's more money conscious to be able to, you know, market through influencers than it is to market through like TV and press and other, you know, old forms of marketing. I mean, this is the way of like the future, is marketing through people who, you know, on social media and just like normal people. It's just weird. It's just my mind is like blown by it every time I think about it. And it's just a weird world that we live in now. And I agree, like what would we have done so many years ago?
Well,
it's mad.
We wouldn't be having this conversation, that's for sure. You know, that podcasting now is absolutely massive thanks to Zoom.
Yeah, so absolutely.
It's just, and now I've got nieces and nephews that are like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up. I'm like, sorry, what?
Yeah. I mean, like, so that's so funny because that's like me when I was young. I mean, YouTube was not new, but like these big presences on YouTube and looking up to people the way that we do now through social media, that was relatively new. And I remember like watching Jaclyn Hill. She was like one of the first YouTubers that blew up, and I really enjoyed her content. And I just remember thinking like, she is living the dream, and that would be so cool one day if I could do that, but I will never do that. I'm not anywhere near Jaclyn Hill, but it is kind of crazy to think that I even have a following, you know, let alone like, it's just wild. Because I was that person that was like, oh, that's cool, but like, I don't, it's not realistic. I mean, there's like a select few people that can do that. That's not the way it is anymore. I mean, everyone could really like, if you put enough effort in, you get one viral video, man. I mean, it's just a crazy platform.
Yeah,
right. Especially with TikTok, like you're saying. Like a while back, we interviewed someone from TikTok called Call Me Chris.
Mm-hmm.
When we spoke to her, she was on 6 million followers, I believe it was. She's now on 12 million followers. She has merchandise. When we were talking to her, she couldn't go out for a burger without being stopped and someone took a photo of her. She was like, I'm a Canadian girl that just makes silly videos for something to do during lockdown.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Can you go out for burgers without getting stopped?
I can definitely go out for burgers. I have never been recognized ever. I don't foresee that for me for like ever. I'm not sure that'll ever be an issue.
If it keeps going the way it's going, though.
You never know.
I mean, we'll see. But hey, the beauty of what I do is like, I don't really think that someone has a really good idea of what I mean, obviously like, I look like this, but like if you saw me out in public versus if you saw me on Instagram, because of all the wild looks that I do and how I transform my features so much, I do think it would be kind of hard to be like, oh, that's who she is. They're going to be like, I'm not sure what she really looks like.
Yeah, if you went out in full makeup, they'd be like, oh my God, it's Raychel Roll.
Yeah.
So do you have any particular favorite like characters or beings or whatever that you like to do?
So my favorite like type of painting to do is skull paintings. Like I just feel like really badass in a skull painting. Like there's a confidence behind it, and it doesn't like matter what it can be, like a really ugly or like a really beautiful skull. they're different ones that I just feel confident in them. But I also have done a few different series. Like the series that first really big one I did was a comic book series. So I did like 9 villains and 9 superheroes. And after Christmas this year, I'm hoping to I want to get back and do some more of those, because all the paintings I've done, like those are one of the funnest ones that I've done. And it was before I did TikTok. So I kind of want to like now be able to like cosplay in the paintings instead.
Yes.
Or 2, you know, because I just didn't do videos at the time. So they were really fun, but like I only have photos of them. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. I think that that with comic style is a really fun style to paint too, and really satisfying because it like looks like a drawing in a photo.
It's really cool. The Thanos is badass.
Yeah.
The one where you've drawn it's almost like someone's drawn half of your face.
Yeah.
You look at that comic, oh my God, was unreal. Absolutely unreal. Sorry, carry on.
I love that one. Yeah, that's a good one. A lot of my favorites are from like the first half of a year that I did paintings. Like after Halloween, like I feel like I really just kind of like, I felt really confident in myself that first Halloween and was like, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm really gonna kick some ass and like actually go for this. And I did. And then and a lot of like, when I look back at all my favorites, like most of them are from that era of just feeling really confident in myself, because I wasn't big yet, so I had nothing to lose. Like I had no criticism, there was just, I didn't have a lot of a platform, I guess. And so I think I was feeling like really confident because I could just do whatever I wanted. I didn't have like brands saying you need to use this or we want you to do this. And so that was a really fun time. And not that I still don't enjoy it, but it's just like there's more stipulations to what I can do today than there is like back then.
So I've doing our research and stuff like that, I saw that you were part of a makeup contest on YouTube called Makeup Wars.
Uh-huh.
How did that come about?
So I've been really lucky, I guess, in my career that I've had a lot of like any of the contests or things that I've like applied for, most of them came to me. So like this contest, is it a modeling agency, or I think it's a modeling agency, Georgia Modeling Agency or something like that. I'm so sorry that I don't know that. They actually just emailed me and they said, like, we really like your work. We've done one of these competitions before. We did it in person. The first round that they did was in person. And then the second year they were doing it, they were opening up to online so they could have more people and have just a wider base and it wouldn't just be in Georgia. And so they had emailed me and said, we're interested like in you. Would you be interested in this competition? I mean, I'm sure that they sent a wide net out to a lot of people because then I think that they chose 12 videos to move forward. Out of however many submissions they had, they chose 12 videos to move forward, 12 artists. And then out of those 12, 6 artists were chosen to actually produce videos to go onto YouTube. So it wasn't like just because they emailed me, I was in, but it was just like, hey, we like your work. Would you consider applying to this? And I was like, well, that could be fun. So I did. And I had, like I said, been a competitive dancer my whole life. So I definitely like enjoy competition. And so that was actually so fun. It was the first time in years that I had anything close to like a dance competition. And it was just like, man, this is a good feeling again, just to be able to like do what I love and like win or lose, whatever, doesn't matter. But that was really fun. And I would totally do something like that again.
How did it go?
It was good. I got second place and I'm really proud of that. I mean, it was thank you. It was, like I said, I think it was my first real like competition of any sorts that I had done. So that was really just cool to be a part of it. Not even the fact that like I got second place, but just fun to be a part of it and produce it, promote it. I had never filmed a video of myself doing makeup before. So that was also the first video I sent to anyone. And then it was like out on YouTube and I was like, oh shit. I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, so it was just that was really fun. I would do it again. I've gotten a lot more confident in videos from TikTok because I mean, like I said at the time, I just wasn't even doing videos, and I'm sure, as you guys know from like me even doing these, it's really hard to like watch yourself. It's just not fun until you really get used to it, and then it's not still fun, but at least you can do it. But so I have a hard time with that. But yeah, I actually was asked to be a part of a TV show recently, and so that's, I mean, I've had like these awesome opportunities just like come to me, which is really cool because I wouldn't seek them out.
So that weirdly like completely goes into my next question, which is beautiful. So thanks for that little sidebar there. So I was going to say, have you been asked or have you done any work for any TV, any movies at all? Because if they haven't, they are missing out on a trick here.
Thank you. I have not, and I have had like a few emails, which to be honest, I've gotten a lot of scam emails. I mean, a lot, and some of them are really good scam emails, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah, it's frustrating. This community, I think, because makeup in general is such a big community, I do think there's just a lot of scams out there. So I've gotten some emails that seem legit, and they asked, like, I remember one was to work on, I don't remember what TV show it was, but it was a very large TV show at the time. And I was like, that's cool. That's got to be a scam. Like, I mean, that's just where my brain goes. Like, they couldn't want me. So I don't know if like some of the ones I've gotten are legit or not, because a lot of the ones I got I didn't reply to because I just was so scared that they were going to be scams, and I just figured it would be good to be true. I did though get asked to be on. It's a Snap. I think it's going to be a Snapchat show. I don't use Snapchat, so I guess I don't really know how that works. But apparently, there's like things on shows on Snapchat that you can subscribe to. Does that sound right to you?
I have Snapchat. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. I don't know that either.
Or maybe it's like, here's from when I use Snapchat. What I'm thinking is like when you're on your page where you can watch other people's like stories or whatever Snapchat calls them. And then if you scroll down, there's like those subscriptions, or not subscriptions, but like channels. I think it's something like that.
Okay.
So anyway, it was going to be a makeup competition show like that. But because of coronavirus, I was chosen for it, but I chose to not be a part of it because I just didn't want to take the time off work, quarantine, do all the things, travel. It just wasn't, to me, a good time to do it. So I just kind of think like, now I also know that I was chosen, and I like felt really confident after that. And I thought to myself, like, maybe that was a once in a lifetime opportunity and maybe I passed it up, but maybe if I want to do this, like I'll seek something out and something else will like come to me down the road. I would do competition shows, but I probably wouldn't work in Hollywood if that's like more the realm that you were looking for. Cause it's not really my thing. I don't know. It's just, I don't see it for me.
And well, that's fair enough. I mean, I wasn't necessarily referring to the fucking big time, but I mean like just anything, just generally. So
just any movie,
yeah. Even if it's just like a small time, like Independence or whatever like that. So.
Oh sure, yeah. I have a good friend who is doing like a film, but he lives in a different state, and with coronavirus, like I would love to help him with some of his stuff, but this is not a good time. Nope. So maybe one day, like I would love to work on something with him. But no one else has asked me, and that's totally fine. Like it would be fun. Like I would probably do it if the right thing came along.
Yeah, I think everything happens for a reason though. So I think if you turn down obviously Rona's fucked everything anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
But once that's gone, I think I'm a firm believer of like everything happens for a reason. So I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line, something will appear and you'll be like, holy shit. Like, yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I'm a huge believer in that as well, that everything happens for a reason. So that was like a really tough decision to make, because I kept thinking like I don't want to make the decision because I'm scared. Like I called a few friends and I was like, okay, I got on the show, but I don't think it's right for me, but please let me talk through this, because I need someone to tell me that I'm making this decision for the right reasons and I'm not doing it because I'm scared that I'm not going to be good enough. And that was, because of course, like as an artist, that's an insecurity. Like when you put your art into the world, it's a little scary to like get criticized, and especially when you're like in a competition. Obviously it's competition. Like, so that was a tough decision to make, but I agree with you. I was like, in the end of the day, like it probably wasn't for me, and another thing will come along if it was meant to be, and I'm okay with that. I
mean, I know I'm just a random dude from the UK, but keep doing what you're doing, because ball out of the fucking park.
Thank you. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not stopping anytime soon. Good. I mean, I enjoy it so much. I couldn't stop if I wanted to. I take like a break and I'm like, oh, get me back into some makeup.
Excellent.
Is there an end goal with this, something you want to achieve, or is it just it's something I like doing for fun? If something happens, something happens.
So when I started, this is funny because I just did this yesterday. When I started, my end goal in mind, I didn't have an end goal, but I kept thinking to myself, like, wouldn't it be cool if one day I've done enough paintings that I can like put them into collages and like look back at like all these collections that I've done, or like look back at like renditions. Like I did it one year and then I did it in a different way the next year, but it's a similar painting. And so I just actually did that on my Instagram yesterday. I put some polls up of looks, like a couple of different Grinch looks or candy cane queen looks and stuff like that. And it was like, wow, I actually am at that point where I've done enough of these that I can like combine. It's just crazy. I've done so many and it's fun to look at. That was like my brain 2 years ago. My brain today is saying that my end goal is currently to be able to go part-time at my current job so that I can like have a better work-life balance and not stay up until 3 a.m. So it would be nice to like have a social life outside of work at some point. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of just what I do is like work and paint and sleep occasionally. So it's, it would be really nice to be able to go part-time there, but I really do love my other job, and I would never I don't see myself quitting and making this a full-time thing. But maybe, I mean, I don't know. Me and my mom talk about merch at some point, which would be really fun because we love that kind of stuff. And I think it would be like, she's going to design my logo. So it just would be fun to do that with her. So, you know, there's things like that kind of on the horizon. Hopefully, I'm thinking in the next year I can maybe go part-time at work. And that would be just like such a, I don't know, just feel really good to say that I like did that, you know?
That'd be awesome. I mean, did you say that you've been picked up by a few brands?
Yeah, I am on quite a few different like PR lists. I have a lot of support from different brands, affiliate codes with different brands. Trying to think of what else. Gosh, over the holiday season, well, like, okay, holiday season, I mean Halloween, because that's my holiday season. Over Halloween, I had a few different brand deals come up. So I did one with LA Girl, which is a like drugstore cosmetic company. And then I have another job with actually the FDA right now, which is probably one of the wildest jobs. Like I remember when they came to me, I was like, again, they actually sent me 4 emails and I didn't reply to them because I was convinced they were all scams. I was like, they don't want to work with me. Why would they want to work with me? And then finally, like the 5th one, they sent like the whole briefing with like all the details. And I was like, oh my God, this is legit. And I've been ignoring. So, but that is a really cool job. Just to be able to say that I've like done work for them. And then also with Swarovski crystals in October, which was one of like the coolest, mind-blowing, like I'm on a call with them and she goes, they so wanted to work with you. You were their first pick. And I was like, I was what? Like, I don't see myself like that to people. I think I'm talented. I know I'm talented. But I also like don't think like, wow, I'm so cool, people want to work with me. Like, I don't know, I just don't really get it. Like it's just surprising to me every time, you know. So that was a really, really neat job too. So
that's so fucking cool though, that you feel that, you know, you're not like, well, yeah, of course I'm brilliant, of course, you know what I mean, you're very humble about it, like, holy shit, like yeah. It's really cool. I mean, I never want to like have a big ego by any means, but I also think that that's like a lot of how other artists' brains work too, is like, again, like you're your biggest critic as an artist. And so it's, you know, I'm so flattered. Like even when you guys reached out to me, I was so flattered. I was like, someone wants to talk to me about me. It's really neat to know that like whatever I'm doing is sending some sort of message to people, whether it's just like, this is cool to look at and it's cool that people do this and whatever, or if it's someone who goes like, oh, I've always liked makeup too and maybe I want to give it a try. And like getting those messages has been like the most rewarding thing. So
awesome. Now, obviously we've mentioned it about 500 times now. Halloween is your time to shine. And you did some incredible looks this Halloween just gone. Did you achieve all the looks you wanted, or was there any visions you just couldn't quite get right? You was like, I ain't showing this to the world.
There were others on the list. Like I always, for Halloween, because it's such a big undertaking, it's like Halloween and Christmas are the only 2 times a year that I make like an actual list of like, this is what I'm going to do. Everything else is like on a whim. It's whatever I'm feeling that day. Or whatever I have to do for a job that I'm doing. But for Halloween, I made a list. I probably changed that list about 20 times throughout the month. So there were ones that were definitely on it that are still like ones I want to do at some point, but I just didn't get to this Halloween because every year I make a list, but then if something comes up, like a job comes up, so different jobs came up this October, I got to replace it for things that are going to make me some money, which is great. So no complaints there. But I do have like now product for other things. Like I really wanted to do Twisty the Clown from American Horror Story. And I still want to do him. I have all of the stuff for it, but that was unfortunately one that got booted from my Halloween list this year. I know. You're shaking your head. Like,
no,
how
not
dare you?
I'm not. I guess that's
not Twisty.
He was the one with only the top jaw, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yep.
That was amazing.
I'm really looking forward to the day that I get to do that one. I love gory, like horror, like the just all of Halloween, like makes me so happy. And like my parents hate it. Like every time I post, like I always post to Facebook because I have a bunch of like coworkers and family that don't have any other platform. So they'll see it on just like my, just personal Facebook. And it's so funny because my dad's always in my comments like, I always like the pretty ones best. I hate to break it to you, but that's not really what I love to do.
Oh, bless him.
I know. So more of those like gore type stuff. I mean, that stuff is just so fun. So one day we'll see Twisty.
Have you ever done, because most of it's top half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would you ever go all the way down to your feet?
Not on myself. I don't think it would be easy to do.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking you'd we should get a big fucking paintbrush, just go for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know girls that do. Man, there is an unbelievably talented artist that I've followed since I started. Her name's K Pike Fashion on I think both TikTok and Instagram. She's incredibly talented. She does about waist up most of the time, so she'll do full arms, waist up. I mean, that I think I could do, although truly anytime I try to paint with my non-dominant hand on my other hand, it's a nightmare. Like I've never been able to do it well. It's also like when I'm trying to paint like this half of my body because I'm right-handed, I'm like down here and I'm doing this like it's so hard because I can't paint left-handed. So I think that there's like maybe not so much on myself. Like maybe one day I would consider doing like waist up, but I'm also not super confident in my body, and I think that that's part of why like showing like chest up just like is very easy for me.
Yeah.
But I would totally do it on other people. Like I have gotten the offers to do like full body, and I think that that's really fun. But it's probably not for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I was just curious as well because I saw. I do apologise first off.
No, don't be sorry. You're fine. It's a good question.
Because
I get the question all the time on TikTok. You're not the first one.
Yeah, I bet it's weird though sometimes, isn't it?
They can be.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't go into that. Because I. Not in a stalk. I found your Facebook earlier, so I do apologise.
Oh, okay.
And I was looking at because I don't have Instagram, so I was like, well, I want to have a look at what you do. And I saw one which was just blew my mind, which is the shark consuming you. Was absolutely. I noticed that was a bit lower down than normal, the ones you've normally done, which is why I asked. But how did you? Yeah, again, mind is blown.
That is so funny. That was one of not the first, but it definitely was one that really blew up when I did it. Because I was not the first person to do it. Well, many other artists had done it. But I think I just did a really good rendition of it, and so it got reposted a lot on Instagram and stuff like that. So it was just pretty popular when it got posted, and also like who doesn't love Shark Week?
Well. Exactly. Plus, your face expression was spot on.
Yeah. So okay. That's a funny story. So last October, that was my first job ever, paid job for this, was my hometown of Union Gap. I'm actually from Yakima, but Union Gap in Washington State. They sponsored me. They had me come and do like a live face painting at their corn maze, and then they sponsored 13 of my different posts for October. It was so cool to say that like my first ever sponsor was my hometown.
Awesome.
It's a very special moment in my career. In addition to that, the Yakima Herald ran an article on me, a newspaper article, and so they had me submit photos to them to use in the article, right? So I submitted a bunch and I said use whatever. I didn't expect them to use all of them. And they were so smart and strategic in how they did this. So what they did is they used that shark photo, but you know how newspapers fold, right? So the only part that you see when it's folded is just my face, just like whatever I was doing. And then you unfold it and it's the full body shark photo. And so it was like this, it was so funny though, because I had people like who didn't know I was going to have this article coming out, like old friends and family calling me being like, is this you on the paper? And then I saw it and it was folded out, and I folded it and I went, oh my God, that's so embarrassing that's what everyone saw. It was just that like dumb look on my face.
It's not. It's phenomenal. It's not dumb at all. It's just. It literally was just absolutely spot on.
Well, thank you. I really love how. I'm really proud of how that one turned out. It is one of my favorite looks I think I've ever done. So.
Good.
That's amazing. So we've touched on Halloween, but you briefly mentioned Christmas as well. Is the list written of what we're planned for Christmas?
That's too funny. I have the list in my head. I was gonna write it like after I'm off this podcast.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I have a bunch of ideas saved. Like when I'm going through Instagram, I'll like just save looks as I go, and then I'll come back. They're all in like an album, and then I'll just come back and be like, oh, this is what I'm inspired by today, and this is what I want to do. So I have a bunch of ideas kind of like saved, and ideas. I have 3 looks done. I'm only gonna do 12 for Christmas because I need a break, and it was October just wipes me out. So, and with the like Corona and the holidays, and it's just I need a break. So that's my break is 12 looks for October. For I don't even know what month it is. How much I need
December.
a break.
Christmas is in December.
Thanks for December.
So as we're starting to wrap up and whatnot, if people are listening to this have not seen your stuff before, what looks would you encourage them to go seek out to be like, that shit is incredible, go check that one out?
I would say I really, like I said, I'm really proud of any of the superhero series that I did. Particularly, I'm really proud of my superheroes. The villains are really cool, but I think I'm going to redo most of those. So go check out like my superheroes. My Halloween looks from this year, I'm really proud of as well. So really any of last year's Halloween looks, like I really over the last year, like I've been pretty proud of what I've put out, but I would say the shark, the superheroes, and my Halloween looks. Those are probably where you're going to get like the most, the most out of it.
You've got so many awesome looks. Possibly one of my favorite ones though is Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas. The fact you managed to get that shape on your face, it's amazing. It's so cleverly done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love Nightmare Before Christmas. So being able to like create that entire series for Halloween this year was so much fun. It's one of my favorite movies.
It's awesome. I've got a couple of fan questions, but before I jump onto them, Tom, have you got anything?
Just one quickly. What look would look good on me with this?
Oh man, with the beard. Oh, that makes it tough.
That's what I'm curious to know.
You know what okay, there is a guy on TikTok. I don't know his handle off the top of my head, but he has a mustache and he'll actually paint like skull teeth over his mustache. And I don't know how he does it, but I'm very proud of him for it. Because I know I could do it. But I could see like a nice half skull just going over the mustache. Yes. Like if we could paint over it, that would be pretty sick.
Oh, incredible. Yeah. I'm not going to attempt it. It will look horrific. It will look horrific.
I think it would be fun.
Yeah, I'm not giving a bash. You'll get a random message later down the line, like, who the fuck's this guy?
Oh! I am so okay with that. Please, my DMs are open for the message. When you get that done, when you get that nice skull look on your face, man, I'm ready, and it's going on the stories. Like it's going out there.
Okay, you've got yourself a deal.
All right,
that's
you do
amazing.
it.
I will get it done by the end of the year.
Love it. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
So I say we had some fan questions. We have one fan that decided to ask 3 questions, so it kind of works. So Gemma Williams, big friend of this show, she said when she was little, it was a dream of hers to be a makeup artist as well, but she learned it was very hard to get a foot in the door. So do you have any tips or tricks for people that want to pursue this career?
So I think it really depends on what kind of makeup artist you want to be. I mean, and to be fair, every state in the US has different rules and regulations on whether you need a license or any sort of formal training, or if you don't, like differs by state to state, and I'm sure country to country. So in my state, you don't have to have a license to be a freelance makeup artist. So that's why I was able to do it without having any schooling. But I do think that if you want a good foot in the door, like as much as retail makeup sucks, which it does, like I hated working it every second of it, it is a good foot in the door. And it is kind of one of those things where like if you really want it and you're willing to like do the work for that crappy job for a year or more while you like build your clientele and you make contacts and stuff like that. I mean, having the retail experience of working a counter it really does make a difference in your contacts and stuff like that. So I think that if you want to do freelance, that's a great way to get into it. But if you want to do Hollywood, I'm not the one to ask. I really don't know.
She also said, what hurdles have you had to overcome along the way, if any?
So when I first started makeup, this was before I even started doing my first Halloween series. So I had been doing the Halloween looks every year or so, but I hadn't done like the full 31 days and the Instagram and everything yet. I was dating someone at the time, and you would expect that you can tell like your partner what you want, what your dreams, your aspirations, whatever are. And I was explaining to him that this was like something that I was like wanting to try to do, and I wanted to do 31 days and I wanted to see what would happen. And he basically told me that it was a waste of my time, it would never go anywhere, and that I shouldn't try to pursue it. That relationship ended pretty quickly. But
what a dick.
Yeah, for sure. But that was one of those things where like I said, as an artist, like you're really like your biggest critic is you. You're generally pretty insecure about putting your art out there, even if you think it's good. Like putting it out to the world to have anyone and everyone who doesn't know you tell you that you might suck or say that this, it doesn't look good or whatever it is definitely a fear. And so basically hearing from someone that I really like valued their opinion, that it was not worth my time or energy, or like hearing those negative things actually spoken instead of just thinking them to myself was a really big hurdle. And I still did it, obviously, but that's been one of those things that's kind of been in the back of my head ever since, because someone actually said it. It wasn't something I thought. It wasn't just an insecurity of myself. Like it was something I actually heard. And so moving forward, that's always been something that's in the back of my head. And it's not like really fair for me to do that to myself, but it's just, it has definitely been a hurdle. It's just like self-confidence on the internet and being able to put out what I want and not care what people think or say, and like to keep going when you get those negative comments. I think that that's a really tough thing to do. But
first of all, if he's listening to this, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Second, because look at you now. Look at you've got 440,000 people following you, is it?
Yeah.
On Instagram alone, and however many it is on TikTok. To that one yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck him.
He definitely ate his words. That is true.
Yeah, good. I should fucking hope so as well.
Oh God, Tom's angry.
No, it's only because
I so appreciate it.
People like that piss me fucking off so much. It's down to a jealousy thing, I think, at the end of the day, because they won't be able to achieve what you can achieve. So like we've had comments where it's like, oh, you're gonna start a podcast, and all this, and look at us, we're talking to a makeup artist from Seattle, for fuck's sake. So it's just something that ends up being a bit of fun. Might turn into a bit, prick. Sorry, it's wound me up. I'm going to turn my back for the rest of this conversation. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what because you're smashing this out of the park.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, seriously, you just believe. I'll shut up now.
And the last one for Gemma, she says she absolutely loved your Jack and Sally half and half look.
Oh, great.
She'd love to know how you did that because it's amazing.
Yeah, I loved that one too. That was really fun. So Jack and Sally, I had actually done Jack and Sally as full body paints the year prior. So what I did is I had each photo up of the previous ones that I had done up on my screen as I was painting, and I just painted. I think I did the Jack side first, and I just referenced half of the painting that I had initially done, and then I did the Sally side second. Not a tongue twister at all. And again, I just referenced the photo that I had from the previous year. And then the only thing that was really different about the two is I painted stitches down the middle, and the stitches are the same as the stitches that I painted on Sally herself. So, I mean, it was actually quite easy because I had already done the painting before in the full body version. So basically it was just recreating it with some stitches down the middle.
Awesome.
Incredible.
It's amazing. You've been absolutely amazing. What I was thinking as you were saying that, then we were talking earlier about you doing full body paints and whatnot. I reckon you'd make a killing at like Comic Cons.
Mm-hmm.
People been like, "Could you paint me this character?"
Yeah. I get that question all the time. And, after the world opens up again, I would love to like do that kind of stuff. And we do have them in the Seattle area and stuff like that. And I've actually never been. And it would be so fun to go. But the issue is that my paintings take a really long time. So I don't know if I was like actually doing it on people, like how that would go, but I would love to just go. Like I would love to just paint myself and go and have fun. Like I think that would be fun, at least the first time I go. And then I would definitely consider doing it live. And Microsoft is a big company here in the area. And their corporate is in the same like area that I work. And so I've actually had people say like, well, maybe like we'll consider you for like Microsoft parties and stuff like that. So that would be kind of cool. I think that would be fun. Yeah, so maybe one day I'm like the world is normal again. That hopefully that'll be something that I can do, because I would love to like go to body paint conventions and then also do like the Comic Cons and stuff like that. I think it would be so much fun.
Absolutely unreal. Before we go, I just want to apologise again for my rant. I do apologise.
Oh, absolutely! Do not apologize.
Okay. I've calmed down now. I sat here going, "Oh my god, what am I doing?"
Okay.
Right. Before we get out of it, with all of our guests, we like to play a quick little game. It's a quick 5 question round. It's 5 questions. Answer them as quick as you can.
Okay. All right.
Favorite Disney princess?
Ariel.
Ooh. Who would play you in a movie?
Ooh, what's her name? The girl that played Hannah in Pretty Little Liars.
Don't know, I've never seen it.
Or the girl from The Big Bang Theory, because everyone says I look like them. So I don't know their names, but.
Kaylee Cuoco.
Yes.
Penny. Yes.
Yes.
I see that actually. Yeah.
Everyone says I look like her on TikTok.
Favorite concert you've ever been to?
LMFAO, the Black Eyed Peas, and Ludacris.
That sounds like an awesome show.
I know, doesn't it?
Favorite Christmas movie?
Does Nightmare Before Christmas count?
Why not?
Okay.
Tom doesn't. I don't think Tom agrees with that one.
Is that a Halloween film though?
Christmas? Okay, fine. The Grinch.
The Grinch. That works. I heard someone say the Nightmare Before Christmas movie should be November, a November movie, because it's in between the two. I quite like that. And last but not least, does pineapple belong on a pizza?
Yes.
Oh no!
You lost us. We're out.
You should have asked me that at the very beginning to know if you even wanted to do the podcast.
I think we'll do that in future with everybody. You like pineapple pizza? No, well, you can fuck off then.
Rachel, you've been amazing. But it was such a good laugh with you today. Please plug your social medias and want to tell people where they can find your stuff, and because they definitely need to go check it for now. Oh,
thank you. My social medias for both TikTok and Instagram are RaydiateByRaychel, spelled with a Y, RaydiateBy RayChel. So go follow me, go hang out with me. I do some lives every so often on TikTok where you can watch me paint and we can just sing bad music together and it'll be a good time.
Oh, sounds amazing. Again, thank you so much. You've been incredible. We had an absolute amazing time with you today.
Oh, thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. We really appreciate it. It's been lovely talking to you.
Yeah, so much fun talking to you guys. Have a good night.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Find all this great content and more at the USUK Podcast Network.